Good evening, Bucknutters. I was almost able to say good morning, Bucknutters. Wish we were talking about a win. We are not doing that. Wow. Indiana 13, Ohio State 10, Big Ten championship game. We'll find out the seeding tomorrow. No, were the officials bad? Yes. Was Ohio State's coaching worse than that? Yes. So a couple of things. We're going to bring Matt Baxendale in first. A couple of things I learned. Caden Curry just came out here with his hair on fire. I love Caden Curry. As I said, the refs were bad, but another thing I learned, let's give Indiana credit. It's a really good team. Let's give Indiana credit. I think Buckeyes and Hoosiers are going to face each other again in the playoffs. Offensive line, bad. And Ryan Day, and I get it. Listen, he had to beat Michigan. He did that. But, what are we doing tonight? What are we doing? Why are we kicking a field goal on 4th and 1 from the 9, down 3? Even if you make it, which Jaden Fielding has proven he's ready and willing to miss chip shot field goals. He almost missed one last week at Michigan. No one's talked about it. That first field goal, it barely made it, and it was a chip shot. It was like, oh, geez, that was almost a flashback to last year, and no one talked about it, right? Even if you make that field goal, it's just a tie game. Go for it. Don't be a prisoner of, oh, we did a QB sneak before and it didn't work. Okay, 95% of the time that's going to work. Do it again. Bad offensive line for Ohio State. Credit to Indiana. Bad coaching by Ohio State. Bad officiating, and Caden Curry has the wallet that has BMF on it. So does Matt Baxendale. Welcome to the show, Bax.
Mr. Biddle, not the best night, but I'd rather do this against Indiana than against Michigan.
Right. I mean, again, I'm ticked off right now, but I did say I can't have it both ways. I can't say it doesn't really matter that much.
Dave, I got to give all these sharps in Vegas all the credit here because I posted on the front row today. I'm like, the line's only 3. What's wrong with these people? Well, you know what? The reality is it sure seemed like it meant more to Indiana than it did Ohio State. And this isn't a carbon copy of last year's Michigan game. Down to the I'm going to tell you right now where we lost this football game. It's 10-6 with 2 minutes and 47 seconds left on the clock in the first half. And Ohio State played scared and just wanted to get to halftime with a lead instead of going for it, trying to put their foot on the throat at halftime in that middle 8 minutes. And Ryan Day's talked all year about who they are and what they do, and this was scared Ryan Day from last year. So,
at least it wasn't last week.
No, we beat Michigan. That's all that matters. Sure, it's the first loss to Indiana since I was 3 years old, but, nothing lasts forever.
Yeah, I mean, I do think these teams are going to play each other again. At least I think there's a good chance of it.
This will be the national title game, Dave. They're the 2 best teams in the country, and it's not even close.
And, do you agree with me? The Buckeyes will be the 3 seed tomorrow, and I would bet my life on it. It'll be Indiana.
It'll be the 2 seed. Why would you drop Ohio State for this game?
Well, I mean, okay, you could make that argument too, but they're not going to drop any further than 3rd.
No way. This will be a potential. I think. Why would you drop them?
Well,
they've been number 1 all year. They won 16 games in a row. The defending national champs. They lost 13-3 in a game. They screwed up 2 red zone possessions to tie and go ahead.
They'll make the SEC champion the number 2 seed. I'd bet my life on it. We got the number 3 seed. I don't even know if that's worse. I have one of my buddies right here texting me. I think the 3 seed might be better. I'm like,
doesn't matter.
I don't know for sure.
It doesn't matter one bit. If we're being honest, it doesn't matter one bit, dude.
Yeah, rational saying it's pretty much irrelevant.
At the end of the day, it doesn't make a difference. And again, we can talk about 100 different things why they lost this game, but you have 2 3rd and 1s inside the 10-yard line, and you pass the football. Why aren't you running? What was 2nd and 2 in that last drive? I said, Bo Jackson 3 times, don't think twice. And they thought twice. It's a mistake. It was a mistake. There's no better way to put it. And this isn't Brian Hartline looking at USF. This isn't anything other than that. And, it's the exact same score we lost last year to Michigan. And the reality is it's because we played the exact same game offensively. Now, look, I will say something here, Dave. This also reminded me of last year's game from Michigan because Indiana's D-line blew us up in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And they pulled Taylor out of the game. He was so bad at right guard. They couldn't play him. They had Gabe Van Sickle come in for him.
Just when we thought Tegra had turned the corner, because he did play well last week against Michigan, then he did what he did.
He was terrible tonight. There's no other way to put it. There's no other way to put it. And Gabe Van Sickle comes in with the Big Ten title on the line. I'm sorry. If you can't play your right guard with the Big Ten title on the line, he shouldn't be your right guard.
Right. And you know what? I mean, like, and they know that. They know that. How many offensive linemen on the team got rotated out every game when the game was still on the line in the first half? Oh, one. So they knew the entire year that Tegra was the weak link. Played well against Michigan and then awful again tonight. You know what, though? This is one of those games that almost feels like, like,
are we that upset, though?
That's the thing. I probably should be more upset. And I'm like, during the game, it was, and now I'm just like,
Dave, in a 14 playoff, this doesn't even cost us a playoff spot. We'd be the 3 seed in a 14 playoff.
Right.
Like, and
right. And I don't
good for Indiana. I'm happy for them. It's a great deal for their team.
Right.
We also played crappily. The Big Ten officials really helped Indiana, and we played a horrible game. And I also want to congratulate Diego Pavia, the Heisman Trophy winner, because neither one of these quarterbacks did anything tonight to earn that Heisman.
I think Mendoza's going to win it.
No way.
I'm not saying he should. I just bet he will if I had to bet.
Pavia will win it. No question to me.
You're a Diego Pavia guy. I think not that you're a Pavia guy, but I think Mendoza's going to win it. Man, I was so confident saying.
How do we not cover 80? Like, how do we not cover 80?
And dude, how do we? I mean, I'll tell you a couple things that are just like mind blowing to me. You can't just we didn't get the first down on the 4th and 1 when we did a quarterback sneak, so we're not going to do it again. It's like, dude, like
bring in Keenholz and run it. Keenholz will stay on his feet. So Dave, like the basic teaching of a quarterback sneak is stay on your feet as long as you can and let the wave ride you forward.
And then do it again.
Drops. He's like scared to get hit, and that's the one thing right now he's got to overcome.
And then do it again. Don't like be like a prisoner of we got stopped one time, so we can't do it. Do it again. Like you have a 99% chance of getting that first down. And then the other thing the other thing that was just mind blowing, it has nothing to do with Ohio State's coaching, that left a lot to be desired. What was that sack? It felt like I was like a little kid again watching like NFL football in like the late 80s when they'd be like, somebody would get near the quarterback. They're like, in the grasp. You're like, what? Like
there was no in the grasp there.
And that's not even a thing in college. Right. You're right. Like that was like one of the more shadiest calls. Like Tim Donaghy was watching the game. He'd be like, God damn, that was shady.
Well, if I'm Kenyatta Jackson, I don't know how I look at the media and say anything other than I felt really screwed tonight because he got held on almost every play and they never called it. I mean, it's brutal. But like, here's the thing. We can't complain about referees. Ohio State is always 130th in the country in penalties against by opponents.
He actually called a holding on Indiana's offensive line. I was like,
well, on Caden McDonald of all people, when they grabbed his jersey and he fell down like the wind blew him over, it was so funny. I'm like, that guy's not getting held there. Like it's a miracle. But like at the end of the day, Dave, we played everything that was bad about last year's Michigan game. We saw tonight,
right?
Everything about it.
So it's going to work out the exact same way, right? National champs.
Oh, I agree. I think we're going to play Indiana in the national title game and beat them by 3 touchdowns. That's what's going to happen. Those are the 2 best teams in the country. And I'm going to tell you right now, Indiana, their interior D line, just like the Michigan game last year, blew us up. Our offensive line got smoked in that game. I don't know how else to put it.
Well, I know you're in Detroit. I'm going to bring in Jay Book here in a second. Any parting thoughts before I let you go, Mr. Baxendale?
We don't get to play in the Rose Bowl now, but the Orange Bowl will be perfectly fun on January 1st. It sucks. Happy for Indiana. I hope this is the galvanizing moment the Buckeyes needed. And at the end of the day, I'm super thrilled the galvanizing moment was not against Michigan. We still beat those jerks this year, so who cares?
And you're saying we're going to Miami twice?
Two-time.
Those
are the 2 best teams in the country, Dave. And
We're
I'm
going to go to
convinced
Miami
of it
for
after
the
tonight.
Orange Bowl, and then for the Nationals. For those who have no idea what I'm talking about, the national championship game is in Miami this year. So, Benvenida, Miami. Let's go. All right, Bax. Good stuff, man.
Go Bucks, as always.
As you said, man, at least it wasn't last week. Let's bring in J Book. Well, good to see you, my friend. I wish it was under better terms. Are you pissed off right now? I'm sure you are.
I'm pissed, man. I gotta sell my Rose Bowl tickets, Dave. I'm mad.
No. The good news is, like, you'll get your money back and then some, I imagine. But damn,
Hopefully. Look, I'm gonna get it out my system. I tell the Buckeye fans after a loss, use the 48 hours, and then let's regroup, get ready for the playoffs. But like I just tweeted out, Dave, that's an F performance by Ryan Day. Love him, love the guy. Wouldn't want anybody else to lead this program, but that was an absolute stinker of a coaching job from him. Terrible clock management. The offensive attack was suspect. The offensive game plan was suspect. You didn't play to win. Game on the line. You're running behind Tegra, and he got mollywopped all game long. Just throwing on short yardage and gotta have it moments in 3 tight end sets, Dave. Like, come on, man. You got the 2 best wide receivers in college football. If you're going to throw the football to 2 guys who are going to be first-round draft picks, not out of the 3 tight end sets. Like, good Lord, what are we doing here? I mean,
you're taking Carnell Tate off the field to put Bennett Christian out there and 13 personnel. You're right. I mean, you better be right when you do stupid stuff like that. Like, you better be right, because if you're not right, you look like a fool. Like, you look like you're trying to be like the smartest person in class when, like, really you're probably getting like a D-. So I didn't like that at all. Like, they're just
right.
I think they're just too smart. Why is Bennett Christian out there instead of Carnell Tate?
Right. But look at it like this, Dave. This 3 tight end set, I have, and we've talked about it numerous times on the Friday show. I have hated this 3 tight end set all year long. You can probably count on less than 5 fingers how many times you've actually had legitimate success out of this 3 tight end set. Whereas vice versa, you can say, hey, how many times have you struggled in the red zone? Ding, ding, ding. Maybe your red zone struggles are because you're running 3 tight end sets. You're basically in a rugby style offense inside the red zone where everything is boxed in. So the defense have no type of secondary disciplines to where, hey, if I see these 3 tight end sets come in, I don't care about trying to guard Bennett Christian on the pass. I am abandoning all duties and I am crashing right to Bo Jackson until they can prove otherwise. Like, it's for a defensive coordinator, Dave, you would get a sigh of relief if you're saying, hey, game's on the line and you're taking Jeremiah Smith off the field for Bennett Christian.
I know, man.
That's why I say you get an F today, Ryan Day. We're on the Big Ten championship, and you're taking Jeremiah Smith off the field for Bennett Christian.
And what do you think of the field goal? And people be like, "Well, hold on, we're only down 3." Okay, so let's look at this. Let's look at the situation. So it's 4th and 1 from Indiana's 9. Ohio State's down by 3. What, about 5 minutes to go? And they kick the field goal. They try to kick the field goal and they miss the field. Even if they make the field goal, it's just a tie game.
Right.
How about go for it there?
Yeah.
Your thoughts? Go ahead.
I mean, that whole sequence was an absolute cluster. So you're inside the 20, and you got Bo Jackson rips off an 8-yard run. So you're sitting in second and 2. That right there is an offensive coordinator supposedly like, hey, that's the golden moment, because you can do so many things when you're sitting in second and 2 because you're essentially way ahead of the sticks right now. So you're thinking ahead to say, hey, I got 2 to 3 plays to get a first down right now. But what did we decide to do? Run behind Tegra,
Oh,
who has
geez.
been getting demolished all game. Out of everything in the playbook, with a Big Ten championship on the line in the red zone, 2nd and 2, they looked at their play sheet and said, "You know what? Tegra Shabola is the answer right now. Let's run behind him." Stuff. I'm looking at us like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing right now? And it's one of those games we gotta take the frustrations with it, Dave. Get it out the system for the next 48 hours and lock in for these playoffs. But it was a horrible coaching job. I mean, to me, I felt like this defense was good enough. 13 points in today's era of college football, Dave, that should get you a dub. But at the same time, I don't know about you, but I felt like Indiana dictated the pace of the game and they kind of dictated the way this game was moving. I felt like our defense was really good, but I felt like we were on the ropes, but our defense was strong enough with that right combo and their punches to where we was able to back them off, but our offense just kept putting them in such a bad predicament. Like, holy smokes.
Thanks for hanging with me, man. I sent you guys. We meant to start the show earlier. I don't know what happened. We had a little mix up. Our Georgia site accidentally used our feed for their podcast, and so we had to start a new link. But hey, J Book, I appreciate it, man. We will talk in about. I mean, we'll talk next Friday for BTA Fridays, but we'll be talking in the CFP.
Right.
We'll have the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and the national championship game.
Hey, hold on before I get off of here, man. Does Jaden Fielding, maybe it's me, but does that kid give you a heart attack every time he lines up for a field goal? Because even the ones that he make, it looks like he has to put a lot of English on it just for the curve. Like even the Michigan game last week, this week, like both times, I'm thinking it's like, holy smokes, he's missed it. And then at the last second, that thing just looped in, and I'm like, I'm gonna have a heart attack on the couch because this kid's gonna shake another one.
I
And
know,
lo and
man. Like
behold,
that. Who
he
knows?
just
I mean,
didn't win.
he barely made that first win against Michigan last week, and no one's talked about it until like now. We were all just like, we're not talking about it. He barely made that little chip shot against Michigan to make it like 6-3. We're like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's better than him missing it like he did. And he's had a good year overall. Then geez. Yeah. I mean, and you just got to go for it there. I'm sorry. You're down by 3. But one thing, if you're down by 2 and you're going to take the lead, even then I wouldn't like it. You're down by 3. So the best you're going to tie it and give them the ball back with 5 minutes left. You have to go for it there on 4th and 1 from their 9. All right, JB. I'll see you on Friday, my friend. Have a good rest of your weekend.
Talk to you later, my friend.
Yeah, buddy. Let's bring in my man in Amsterdam, Heath Schneider. Good to see you, my friend. You're in a car, looks like.
I am. I'm driving back towards Ohio to get out of this cesspool that is Indiana.
So you were there.
What? I was at ground zero on this fine day, and it was rough. I heard some of what Bax and J Book said, and I know some blame was put on Ryan Day. I think we have to look at, I don't know if it was talked about already, but Brian Hartline called an awful game. It was terrible.
Did he?
Everything he talked about, I guess.
Are we sure? Are we sure it was Heartline though? That's what I mean. Like I've been told Ryan Day's calling the plays.
Do you think he called all the plays throughout that game? Because that was very consistent with what the plays were called in most of the games.
I was told like mid-season, hey, did you know Ryan's been calling like the plays in big games, like in big moments, like not every play against Grambling, okay, not every play against like UCLA. That's what I was told by somebody I trust profusely, is that Ryan's been calling the plays. So like, especially now that Heartline's taking the job, I can't imagine it would go like the opposite way, where now Heartline's calling more of the plays.
Well, I'll tell you, man, if I'm hiring him down south, I'm like, okay, that's false pretenses, man. Like, I think he's the offensive coordinator. I think he's calling plays, et cetera, et cetera. So let's say he didn't. Let's say he did. It doesn't matter whether he did or didn't. The point is that they were terrible play calls. They were awful. Why on earth, when you have that 3rd and 1, which you just mentioned, which led to the 4th and 1 and the missed field goal, why are you having Julian roll out? Why are you? Here's a question. Here's a question. Julian Sand has shown you a lot of things he does really, really well. He is a pinpoint accuracy thrower. He does really well on the deep ball. He has progressed throughout the year. And he has also shown you things that he does not do well at all. One of those things is designed runs for the quarterback. He's terrible at them. Quarterback sneaks. He's awful. And you had him run a quarterback sneak on a 4th down, and his knee goes down, and you don't get the 1st down. And I don't understand why you would not put your players into the best possible situations to be successful. And they did not in that situation. I don't care if you go Wildcat, Bo Jackson, West, and I will relent a little and acquiesce and say maybe even Mr. Donaldson could carry the ball there, but certainly not Julian Sand. Just a terrible play call all the way around.
Yeah, man. And you know what? And I said this earlier. I'm sure you feel the same way. Like, I shouldn't speak for you. We got to give Indiana credit. We've got to give Indiana credit here.
Yes.
Like, we're pissed. We're Ohio State guys. But, like, seriously, that is a great team. They're well coached. Hats off.
Yes, absolutely. They did a great job. They're a really well coached team. Like you said, I want to take just a moment and mention that their fans are a bunch of douchebags. Not most of them, but they're okay. So I'm sitting in the stands tonight, and there's a guy 3 rows in front of me who, on every play, including kickoffs, when we know nothing's going to happen on kickoffs about 90% of the time, he's standing hands on knees like he's a coach standing on the sideline, ready to call the play and what's going on. And after every play, he's celebrating, not celebrating his team. He's turning around and celebrating at people that are Ohio State fans. And it's the worst thing you can do. It's just awful. And so I don't mind people going in and having a good time and doing what they do and all that. But, dude, cheer for your team. Don't cheer at people. It's awful. It's not the way it should be.
It might come all the way back around. We might have a rematch. Yeah. In fact, I'm pretty confident we're going to have a rematch.
I would believe it would be. And I want to go back to one other thing. Like, let's say we win this game. We know from last year that the number 1 seed can get a terrible draw.
Right.
Oregon had a terrible draw coming out of that thing. Maybe we don't want the number 1 seed. Maybe we want the 3 seed.
We are getting the 3 seed. So that would be what? So we're playing the winner of 6-11. Do I have that right? So Ole Miss or Tulane, right? Won't Tulane be the 11th seed since now Duke won? So James Madison might be the 12th. The ACC might be like, no soup for you. No soup for ACC.
Yeah.
That's hilarious, man.
You could be having a much better draw here.
We play the winner of Ole Miss, Tulane. Let's go. Heater's so fired up about Ohio State playing the winner of Ole Miss and Tulane. He just had to get out of here. There we go. There we go. We got him back.
I lost him for a second.
We got him back. But seriously,
I'm getting there.
You just never know. You're good. You're good. I'll just keep talking. You just come back when you do it. Listen, that could actually be a good draw for Ohio State. That's why I said coming into this game, I didn't want to act like I didn't care. I cared. I talked about this all week, though. Like, I was just like, obviously I care. Ryan Day cared more than I did. Like, he didn't coach like he cared. Like, he talked like he cared. Like, he was like laser focused. He wanted to win this. And I get it. Like, obviously, you want to win the Big Ten championship. You want to have a historic 16-0 season. But, man, beat Michigan, be the only team to ever go back-to-back as Ohio State. No one will even care. This will be a blip on the radar. And if they had won tonight and didn't win the national championship, definitely wouldn't have been a blip on the radar like losing the national championship. So Ohio State, their goals are still right there. They're still going to get a bye. Yeah, it sucks that like banners fly forever. It sucks that they're not going to have that 2025 Big Ten championship banner, but like I'm okay with it because they beat Michigan and now they're going to get a bye regardless. They're going to be the number 3 seed tomorrow. I would bet my life it'll be Indiana, Georgia, Ohio State, Texas Tech, Oregon, Ole Miss, A&M, and then from there probably Oklahoma, Notre Dame, Alabama, Tulane. This is not where I'm not betting my life after 6, 7.
Yeah.
I bet my life on 1 through 7. I would bet my life on 1 through 7. After that, I do think Notre Dame's going to make it. Oklahoma, yeah. Alabama is going to get in, and Miami. People are like, well, what about Miami? They ain't getting in. They ain't getting in. I don't know. We're gonna hear from Patrick Murphy and Steve Hellwagon eventually. I'm gonna let Heater go just for now. We're gonna hope to bring him back if he. How about my guy though? He's driving back from Indy. He was there, ground zero as he calls it. So the offensive line is disappointing because for most of the year they were a question mark, and like some of those guys are just playing well all year, like Saraveld and Montgomery and Hinsman. But it was like the right side were like, oh geez. And then last week, what happened? They saved their best for the Michigan game. And then tonight happened. We have somebody saying both. See, we have so many people thinking listen, I'm not. Here's my thing on Miami and Alabama debate. I hear what you're saying, and I won't say I don't disagree. I hate that phrase. Don't disagree, because what does that mean? It means I agree. I don't disagree. I agree. I agree with what you're saying. I'm not saying what should happen. I'm saying what will happen. The committee had Alabama ranked 3 spots ahead of Miami coming into today. Okay, Miami didn't play, obviously. Alabama was in the SEC championship game. Yeah, they got beat 28-7 by the number 3 team, according to the committee, who will now be the number 2 team, SEC champion Georgia, who Alabama also beat. Now, if Alabama came into the game 13th and Miami was 12th, I get it. I'm just saying, there's no way the committee is now going to drop Alabama past Miami. It's just not happening. Now, should it happen? Perhaps. It's not going to happen. They had them 3 spots ahead of Miami. Okay? Like this, a few days ago, not even that long ago, a couple days ago, 3 days ago, whatever. They're not going to drop whatever you guys think should be right. I might agree with you. It's not going to happen. They're not going to drop after losing to Georgia 28-7. They're not going to lose. They're not going to drop past Miami. Alabama is getting in. They will be the last at-large team in, but they're getting in. Or maybe Notre Dame will be the last one in. Miami's not getting in. And I know the head-to-head stuff, but like it's more than that. You can't just look at that. God, I hate sticking up for Notre Dame here. I'm not even sticking up for them. I'm just speaking a fact. Like any metric you want to use, like any go back to the BCS formula, anything you want to use, any metric you want to use, Notre Dame is the better team. And even factoring in that head-to-head loss, which by the way was at Miami by 3 points. And obviously, if their resumes were like exactly the same, other than that, Miami would be getting in. But Miami's resume is pretty bad. Other than the win over Notre Dame. And people are like, well, wait, they beat Florida. South Florida. They beat USF. Okay. Brian Hartline's new team. Like, good team, but like not the wins we thought early when those teams we thought Florida might be okay. I don't know. I never really thought Florida would be okay, but some people thought they would. So they got credit for that. But yeah. Alabama's getting in. We can argue whether they should or not. They're going to get in. And if I'm wrong, I know you guys will tell me about it. We have a Dave Biddle. Why 0 tough questions from the OSU press pool? I don't know. That's a good question for Steve Hellwagon and Pat. No, I'm kidding. I think we do a good job of asking tough questions. Like, I think the beat overall, I'm going to speak for my brethren and sistren. Is that a word? Brethren and sistren. I think we do a good job overall. My bias, yes. I think we do a good job of not being bombastic, not being like, muckrakers, but also asking him like hard questions. Like, we asked him a lot of hard questions after the Michigan game last year. I know I did. To the point where I had people saying, you're kind of too hard on it. Like, and I was like, geez, like, well, that was the worst game plan I've ever seen in my life. And then they run up 16 straight wins until tonight, including a national championship. There wasn't a lot to really nitpick, but I just thought we asked him like tough questions. Yeah, it's a balance. I hear what you're saying though. It's a balancing act. Like, I'm a huge sports fan, so I watch like press conferences of my teams that I'm just a fan of. And I'll hear the press conference. I'm like, or watch the press conference. I'm like, come on, ask him about this. I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying because like we're all sports fans. We're like, well, why aren't you asking him about this? I don't know specifically what you're talking about after tonight's game, but yeah, I mean, I imagine it's people are asking him like maybe some softball questions. We'll find out. Maybe Patrick Murphy's going to come in here with like a black eye saying, no, I got punched in the face by asking such a tough question. That probably won't happen. But we're still going to that's a good question. Why do we rotate running back so much? Right? I mean, the tier 1 is Bo Jackson, and then tier 2 has nobody, and then tier 3 is the rest of them. I believe in Isaiah West long term, but he looks banged up to me. And CJ Donaldson, the next time he breaks a tackle will be the first time that I've seen it. Like, I don't know what you're doing. And you could say, well, you don't want to get Bo banged up for the game next week. That means so much. They have 3.5 weeks off. If any week you're going to get Bo Jackson a lot of carries, tonight was the night, and you're rotating running backs. CJ Donaldson, I don't get it at all. I've never seen a big running back get knocked back, never break tackles as much as him. All right, let's go live to Lucas Oil Stadium.
I don't know. Is my camera not working?
Let's see if I can like help you out there. Let's see. We can hear you. That's good enough. Yeah, just like click on your camera. I don't know if I can do that for you. Looks like your camera's trying to work. Well, Steve, we can just hear your pretty voice. I hope we hear your pretty face or see your pretty face. Okay, post-game interviews. Was Ryan Day, was there softballs? Was he kind of like put to the fire, a little in between? What do we need to know from post-game interviews?
I stayed just for one question, which I asked. You given up 6 sacks all season, and you gave up 5 of them in the first 2.5 quarters of this game, and it just didn't make any sense, obviously. So, I don't know what else to say beyond that. They're starting the Indiana press conference here. I don't know how much of that you can hear, but
hear a little bit of it. Yeah.
Yeah. At any rate, that was a miserable mess. And Philip Daniels and Tegra Shabola, they didn't have anything tonight. They had nothing to give. I think it was an emotional win last week. And this week, with all the distractions, the Chris Henry hoopla, Brian Hartline leaving but staying, I don't think that helped, not one bit. Your defense held a team that is number 2 in the country at 44 points to game for 13 points. You have to win that game 99 times out of 100. And guess what? This was the 100th time, and you didn't win it. So, yeah, just a miserable outing for Ohio State here tonight, and all the way around. And, saying slips on the quarterback draw or quarterback sneak and doesn't get the first down. Again, Fielding misses a chip shot field goal.
I know. What do you think about
nice person?
But I know it's easy to say when he missed it, but even before he even kicked, I was like, you need to go for it right there. You're down 3. It's 4th and 1 from their 9. Even if you don't get it, you have them back. Like, you got to go for it there. And
yeah, this was what was troubling to me. Indiana kicked a field goal with like 3 minutes to go in the first half. Well, Ohio State let 35 seconds go off the clock before they kicked it. Then when Ohio State got the ball, they ran a play at 2:48 and didn't run another play till the 2-minute warning. They let 30 and 40 seconds go off the 70 seconds. They had decent enough field position. They were like at the 25 with 3 minutes to go. We've seen them convert that one all season long. I don't know what they were thinking. If they thought, well, we don't want to turn it over here and give Indiana cheap points right before halftime and give Indiana the lead. I don't know, but that was terribly, terribly mismanaged. And the play calling in that sequence was just as bad. I mean, that in a game of very few possessions, you can't just take one where you've got, I mean, if there was a minute to go, I'd understand it. You know, I'd say, okay, get out of there. Don't risk anything. But they didn't call timeout after they stopped Indiana on third down. And then they ran one play and let 35 seconds go off the clock before the 2-minute warning. I'm like, are you playing to win this game, or what are you trying to do? Are you thinking you're going to have 7 possessions in the second half? I mean, what? I'm confused. They waited way too long to put Gabe Van Sickle in. Jeez, oh Pete, like 3 series too late on that. I don't know. Ennis was down on himself for that interception. That's not his fault. That's Sand's fault. Sand threw late, held it through late back, and the kid made a great play. That guy's got 6 interceptions on the year more. He's a good player. So that wasn't Ennis's fault. So, just Dave, I mean, they haven't lost a game in over a year. They've won 16 in a row. So it's a bit boorish, a bit, whatever, to be sitting here, we suck and we, fire the coaches and all this other stuff. But
none of that.
I mean, none of that stuff. It's just a lot of questions that you're just left with. They just didn't have it. They left it all on the field at Michigan, and they showed up here today. And from early in the game, it was a terrible start to the game with the interception. It just didn't feel like they had it today, and they never did. I mean, third down, Indiana owned them on third down both ways. Yeah. Indiana was like 50% on third and fourth down. Ohio State ended up like 3 of 10, something like that. So I'll let Pat take it from there, but there were a lot of factors in Ohio State's demise here today, and a lot of them you could have foreseen coming. And they got, again, 4 weeks now, or whatever it'll be, 3.5 weeks till they'll play. I am saying the Orange Bowl, just because I think it makes sense to send, obviously, Georgia to the Sugar Bowl, Indiana to the Rose Bowl, Texas Tech to the Cotton Bowl, where they'll sell that out, and Ohio State to the Orange Bowl is what makes sense.
We're going to Miami twice.
I like it. 3. Hey, look at it this way. The bright side, you are 3 wins away from a national championship. So there you go. That's our bright side for tonight.
Going to Miami 2 times. Tony 2 times. Going to Miami 2 times. How many 2 times? All right, Steve. Good stuff, man.
Love you all. Everybody, kiss your kids. Hug your wife. It's okay. We've seen much worse, although I can't think that it gets much worse than losing to Indiana for the first time since 1988.
After you have a one game winning streak over Michigan, it's fine, Steve.
A 30-game winning streak down the tubes, 16 games in the last year. Indiana first Big Ten championship since 1967. So a lot to take in here. So, all right, guys, have a great night.
All right, let's that's Steve Hellwagon. Let's bring in Patrick Murphy live from Lucas Oil Stadium. We can see Pat. Pat, how you doing?
I'm all right, all things considered. I want to say real quick, Steve's comment there, and I agree with a lot of what he said, most of what he said, but at least what I heard of it. But the one thing that I think is really important to point out is, like, this isn't the Indiana team that they beat 29 of those times, right? This is a really good team. This is now the best team in the country, at least, in the rankings, or it will be. And this was the battle of 1 and 2. And like Ohio State, the message we got from the players was they felt that they shot themselves in the foot too many times, as Steve was kind of alluding to there. But it wasn't like they got blown out. This isn't, despite the score being the same as the last time they lost to Michigan. What was that? However many days ago, just over a year ago. Like, this wasn't that. This wasn't them just pissing down their leg, for lack of a
Same
better term.
score, but not the same thing. No.
Yeah, like this is a good Indiana team who came out. I mean, go back and watch some of the stunts and things that they were doing to this offensive line. Like I watched a good amount of Indiana this year, and they did some of that, but they didn't do all of that. They came out with a game plan. They have some really good players. Are they as deep as Ohio State? No, but that didn't matter today because they were able to do enough. And so, not that that's what Buckeye fans want to hear right now, and I get that. But I think when you look back on this, it would not surprise me if these two teams see each other again, because I think they are two really good teams, and Indiana was better today. Though if you listen to Austin Saraveld, he still thinks the Buckeyes are the better team, which I thought was a guy who doesn't say very much normally. He was very adamant that this was an Ohio State issue and not Indiana being the better team. I don't know. I tip my hat to Indiana, I guess is what I'm saying here.
I do too. I tip my captain, but to Austin's point, if they played again, Ohio State would be favored. Let me ask you this, because I've had a lot of people in the chat ask this. Steve on X, did anyone question Ryan Day about the play calling, Patrick?
So I didn't go to the way they do it after these bowl games. You know this, Dave, but for other people, these bowl games, the conference championship games, they do Ryan Day and a player. This one was Julian Sayin in one room, and then they have a breakout room, they call it, where they bring in players. And then for the bowl games, we get the locker room access as well. So the Ryan Day stuff we get sent, so we don't often go to that. Steve went to the beginning of it. So I haven't heard the Ryan Day stuff yet. We'll have that video up soon so people can watch it. But I mean, I have to think so. Like, to me, the most egregious thing, when Steve brought up the managing the clock, which I think is something that Ryan Day's had issues with in the past, especially when you're playing from behind. But the play call on 3rd down and goal, before the play right before the quarterback sneak, you roll Julian Sayin to his left, which is his weaker side, and you only have Jeremiah Smith. That's your only option to throw to. I knew what was coming. Bill Landis and Kevin Noon sitting next to me knew what was coming. Indiana doubles.
If Noon knew it was coming.
Yeah, right. Jeremiah Smith knew what was coming. Pons knew what was coming. The guy who doubled, I don't know who it was, knew who was coming. And so that just sets you need at least a second option. Like the 3rd down or the 4th down play that gets broken up in the end zone to Bennett Christian. Like that play was designed to go to Bo Jackson. They cover it. So you have a second option. And Julian could have run there, which I think would have been nice because you easily pick up the 1st down there. But that's not what he does. We know that. But on that 3rd down, you hurt yourself by only having one guy. Yeah, it's the best player in college football. But if he has 2 or 3 guys on him, what is he supposed to do? And I just thought that was bad. The quarterback sneak, I'd have to look at what Julian's numbers are on it. I was talking with Bill Rabinowitz, formerly of the Columbus Dispatch, about this. And he said, I think he's actually been pretty efficient with it. Like, maybe I'm just remembering the times he doesn't get it. But, like, you have this slip against Michigan. His knee barely hits the ground today. I, at the time, didn't think it was. I thought it was a 1st down. And then I eventually saw the replay and saw that his knee hit. Like, I just don't think they're a good quarterback sneak team. And not that they're good at running in short yardage sometimes either. But I would have rather that ball been in Bo Jackson's hand, or bring Lincoln Kienholz into the game and give you some options there. So, yeah, I think it's anytime they lose, we're going to question some play calls, right? They also had, I thought the pass to Brandon, or the Brandon Inniss double pass, we were talking about it in the press box. When was the last time you can remember them doing a play like that in like a game that really mattered? Was it 2014 and Evan Spencer to Michael Thomas? Like, they don't call plays like that very often, right?
Yeah, that's a great call.
Yeah, so I think, like, it wasn't all bad. It's bad because they lost, and we're going to point out the bad ones. But there were some things, like, that was fun. And if that works and you go down and you get that touchdown, we're talking about what a great play call that was, right? So, I know I'm kind of playing both sides here. I know everyone's disappointed. Like, this is painful, right? You've come all this way. You've won 16 straight games. You wanted an undefeated season. You wanted a Big Ten title, and now that's out the door. But the good thing is, we're in a new era where you get to keep playing.
Right. And like, listen, I don't want to like sugarcoat it, but like, I just am being real. Like, they beat Michigan and now they're going to get a bye in the playoffs. Obviously, you'd rather like go, if you had your druthers, you'd rather go 16-0, have the Big Ten championship, have the win over Michigan, and win the national title. How much does tonight affect the CFP. I think they're going to be the 3 seed. In your opinion, Patrick, how much does tonight's loss affect Ohio State, if at all, just looking at the CFP?
Yeah, I think 3 or 4 probably, which does it matter? Not really. As Steve was saying, you're probably going to Miami, and all that matters is eventually you may have to wear white instead of scarlet, which I know a lot of people like better anyway. So if you go out and handle your business, we saw last year, the seeding doesn't necessarily mean you get the best matchups. You saw that with Ohio State and Oregon, right? So we talked about this on Wednesday, I think, Dave. Like, this could be something if the bracket plays out right. Maybe they end up on the better side. Just trying to be positive here. We'll see what happens tomorrow. But no, I don't think it affects much. I don't see them falling below 4. Maybe if Indiana had really run away with this game, they drop below 4. But even then, I think
to 4 even. Like, how
yeah,
Texas Tech is not moving up. So both of them are 12-1, right? Texas Tech and Ohio State. Yeah, no. I mean, losing to Indiana.
Who's Tech's lost to?
Arizona State.
Oh, right. Okay.
So they're both 12-1. They won the Big 12. Like Ohio State wouldn't have won the Big 12 or freaking BYU. Yeah, there's no way the committee's moving Ohio State from 1 to 4, in my opinion. And if they do, okay, great. And they probably don't want Ohio State and Indiana on the same side anyway. They probably want to have Ohio State and Georgia as that possible like semifinal matchup.
Right.
Maybe I'm wrong. I would bet my life Ohio State will be the 3 seed tomorrow. We shall see. In fact, I think there's a better chance to be the 2 seed. I don't think this will happen because Georgia will be the 2 seed. Then they would be the 4 seed. But, yeah, they're going to get a bye. And hats off to Indiana, as you said. Hats off to Indiana. They're a really good team. Look at this guy. Yeah. Ted's out here. They'll be a 5 seed. Yeah, right, dude. If I knew you, Ted, I'd say let's bet your car on that, assuming you have one. You'd lose your car. All right. Parting thoughts, Patrick Murphy.
Yeah. I think this, you hope, becomes what Michigan was a year ago. And I understand that it's not the same painful loss and whatnot, but the way the players were talking, like, they're hurting, but I think they also know that there are things that they can clean up. And now you have some added motivation, right? If you go in, you're undefeated. Again, I bring up Oregon. Maybe they go in and are a little bit overconfident in that next round. Now they have things, every day in practice until you play that quarterfinal game is going to be getting over this, right? And if you win, I mean, you want to win, but I think you can use this as that motivation to fuel yourself in the playoff. And we wanted to see them. They wanted to see the completing all 3 of their goals. It's hard to do. If you can get 2 out of 3 and one of them is beating Michigan, losing by 3 in the Big Ten championship game is not fun, but you didn't get blown out or anything. Like, if you can go and still win a national championship, and this is, again, the driving force, I think you look back kind of, no one wanted to lose that Michigan game, but I think a lot of people look back on it now and say, hey, that turned around what they needed for the national championship. So we'll see. But I think and I hope that this could be a driving force for them going forward.
I agree with you 100%. Like, last year, I do think that galvanized them. But, like, the losing to Michigan, even now, Ohio State fans are like, God, I saw that Michigan loss. If Ohio State wins the national championship this year, they're the only Ohio State team to ever go back-to-back. I don't think Ohio State fans that's really going to stick in their craw that they lost to Indiana. Like, it's different. Like, especially beating Michigan like they did in Ann Arbor last week. Like, Ohio State becomes the only Ohio State team to ever go back-to-back. I think this – am I sugarcoating this? It'll be a blip on the radar. That's a big if.
Yeah.
You got to win 3 games.
Yeah, and against good teams. But I completely agree. And look, again, this is a good Indiana team. This isn't like when Ohio State played Northwestern in the Big Ten championship game because they won the other side of the conference, right? Like, this is the number 2 team in the country. So you don't like to lose, but I think you can hold your head high that, this was a tight game and you just came up a little bit short. And, I mean, it's a missed field goal. It's a 4th down play. It's the little things. And they did some good things here too. I mean, like, it's not like Indiana was I know they were better on 3rd down. I know all this, but like, they got stops. This is a good Indiana offense. They were able to move the ball. I think that's a positive too. Like, you're in the red zone. Now you got to finish in the red zone, but it wasn't like you just kept going 3 and out or 1 first down and you're punting. Like, they moved the ball just fine. Like, other than the interception early on, like, you're pretty much moving the ball on every drive. So, there are still positives. This is still a really good football team. I think have you seen the odds for the updated odds for the national championship? I bet they might still be a favorite.
I would be shocked if Ohio State's not still the favorite.
Yeah, maybe maybe the number 2 to Indiana, but just because you just saw this and this is fresh.
Yeah, I'll have to see the update. I would bet that we should be able to bet on what the betting odds will be.
Yeah.
I bet it'll be close. But I bet Ohio State will be the betting favorite.
No Heisman though. I think that's out the window now. I do think Julian will still go. Who won MVP? Was it Mendoza?
I think. Oh, who won MVP of the game? Probably. Yeah. I didn't see that. I had to get right, and we had this as you probably wondered what I was saying when I was texting. And
no, I saw everything.
Yeah, we had I set the show up hours ago, and then I went in there, and it was it said show has ended, and our Georgia guys accidentally got in there, and so I had to set up a new link and everything. So
I would assume he was MVP, but
he was.
I think Hardy I voted Hardy, their linebacker, the guy who broke up the play. I think he led them in tackles too. Broke up the play on Bennett Christian. That would have been my, Caden Curry was my Ohio State one. Okay, I see it. Caden Curry was my Ohio State MVP because you can pick for either team. And then I said Hardy for Indiana. I thought he was fantastic. I don't know how Indiana's done this. I mean, it's other teams are going to try to do what Kurt Signetti and this program have done. I don't think it's easily repeatable. They've made it look easy. Kurt Signetti is a crazy coach, and I mean that in the best way possible.
Yes.
He is now going to be right up there, especially if they make a playoff run, right up there in the conversation with Ryan Day and Kirby Smart. He's done magical things at Indiana, and we'll see what happens in the playoff. But again, I just can't give Indiana enough credit for what they did today.
There you go. Ohio State is still the favorite on FanDuel, according to Sean on YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't believe you, Sean. I'm not going to have our producer, just me. I do both things. I'm not going to have our producer look it up. I'm going to trust you, Sean. Sean says Ohio State is still the favorite, barely over Indiana, plus 240 for the Buckeyes, plus 280 for the Hoosiers. Patrick Murphy.
Hey, real quick. The two things that I think could stand in their way of a national championship going forward. You got to get this offensive line figured out. I mean, I know they were really good against Michigan, but looking back, we were talking about this in the press box too. Michigan's defensive line, good against the run, not great against, as pass rushers. So they got to get that figured out because this was not good enough today. They almost doubled the number of sacks they gave up this season. And I think Julian's saying, you saw him without Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate. He made some good throws today. And the interception, I agree with Steve, not a smart throw, but the guy makes hell of a play. You just have to clean some things up, and that on the offensive side of the ball. I also think the Jeremiah Smith, the big pass to him, if he's healthy, I think he takes that to the end zone. And so maybe 3 weeks more to heal up. We didn't see a ton from Carnell Tate today. They were bringing those guys in and out quite a bit. So, I do think that'll help. But I think there's, again, going back to my motivation, they're going to turn on this film and look at it and be like, this has to get better. This has to get better. This has to get better. Even on defense, Arvell Reese hasn't been the animal he was. Now I know he's getting a lot of attention, things like that. So, let's hope that we're talking about in a month and a half or so, what a blessing in disguise this was. And, confetti on the field in Miami. And look, I'm not going to hate it if we end up in Miami twice, right? That's not a bad place to be in the winter.
Exactly, Patrick. Well said. All right. You keep the guys out of trouble, and I appreciate your insights, my friend.
All right. See you later, Dave.
Safe travels. Patrick Murphy live from Indianapolis, which is, I'm sure most of you know that's a great place to host events like this. I mean, we don't like the result tonight because everything in Indy, the hotels, the bars, the restaurants, Lucas Oil Stadium, it's all right there. When I say all right there, I mean within a 10-minute walk of each other. One time we were staying at the hotel and I got an Uber to St. Elmo. We had reservations at St. Elmo and it was a 2-minute Uber drive. And I'm like, oh God, I felt like the laziest guy in the world after that. I was I didn't realize it was that close to the hotel. Maybe it was 3 minutes. I'm trying to be nice here. Maybe 5, probably not. I think it was 2 or 3. So that was pretty lazy on my part. Not good tonight, my friends, but again, if they win the national championship, obviously we would rather them be 16-0 national champs, not 15-1 national champs. But this is what I was saying all along. I was like, I don't really care about the Big Ten championship game. Like, I wanted Ohio State to win. I wanted Ohio State to get the number 1 seed, and I wanted Julian to win the Heisman. So it wasn't like I didn't care. I wanted those things. I wanted them to be able to hang that 2025 Big Ten championship banner. You know, it was important to Ryan Day. I really wanted Julian to win the Heisman. I was more invested in that maybe than I was like the Big Ten championship. That's how much the Big Ten championship has been like devalued. The Heisman's not devalued at all. You'd have Sayin 10 right next. The irony, you'd have Smith 10. That's when they stopped with like retiring numbers. Like, we're running out of numbers here. We're not going to retire numbers anymore. We're going to have Smith 10 for Troy Smith, but you can still wear the number 10. I was like, if you're Troy Smith, you're like, really? You cut it off with me? No. But like all the other guys, like, you know, Hopalong Cassidy, Les Horvath, all of them, Vic Janowitz, Eddie George, obviously Archie Griffin retired, right? And you have Smith 10. Tonight, when like I thought it would go, you'd have Sayin 10 there. So I wanted all that stuff. I wanted the number 1 seed. I wanted all of that. But the 2 things I wanted most this year, the 2 things I wanted, beat Michigan, and kicking their ass was even better than just beating them at their house. You guys taking over the stadium. You guys in the chat taking over their stadium. I wanted that, and I want the national championship. Everything else was secondary to that. Did I want the Big Ten championship? Yes. Did I want the Heisman? Yes. Did I want this? Yes. But the 2 things that I wanted, beat Michigan, be the only Ohio State team to ever go back-to-back. Check. And then we'll see about – I don't want to put my middle finger up. If I did that, that'd be putting my middle finger up. So I'll go with that. 1 down. We need 1 more. We get 3 wins away from the ultimate goal. And hats off to Indiana. I know we have a lot of Indiana fans in the chat gloating. I would do the same thing. Like, hats off to you guys. You guys have a hell of a team. I've been impressed with Cignetti. I've told this story before. I was at Big Ten Media Days last year, so obviously the summer of 2024 in Indy. Cignetti's up there. He did the Google me comment, and I'm like, man, this guy's like, and I had already read up on him. I'm like, this is a good hire by Indiana. I had no idea how good of a hire, but I was already like, that was a good hire. And I'm telling you, man, you had like media guys and gals around me just like cackling and laughing about Google me. Like, who does this guy think he is? Does he not know he's at Indiana? They have the worst winning percentage of any Big Ten program ever. Yeah, he knew what he was talking about. He knew he wanted Indiana, University of Pennsylvania, which is where his dad coached for years. He wanted Elon. He wanted James Madison. And now look what he's done at Indiana. So hats off to Indiana. Sucks for the Buckeyes tonight. It sucks. I was pissed. Still pissed, but hats off to Indiana. And maybe we'll see you again here. Not this month. It won't be later this month, but maybe in January there will be a rematch between the Buckeyes and the Hoosiers, and the Buckeyes would be favored, and I hope that happens. That'd be great. I'm sure the Hoosiers hope that happens too, because what would that mean? So the Hoosiers are definitely going to be the number 1 seed, right? And in my opinion, Ohio State is definitely going to be the number 3 seed. So if they play again, that will be in the national championship game in Miami. I want to just be still basking. I am still basking. Basking hasn't stopped. That's not going to stop the basking. Beating Michigan, defending national champs, and they still have a fantastic chance of being back-to-back national champs. They're still going to get a bye. And maybe this will wake them up, like Patrick was saying. I know it sounds like spin doctoring, but maybe this will wake them up a little bit. Or at least wake them up might be a little strong. They needed woken up last year. Nice grammar on my part. They needed woken up last year. I don't know if they really need woken up this year, but like if this like really gets them motivated, like you guys can't just like throw your helmets out there on the field and think like, oh yeah, we'll just go out there and play our C game and everything will be fine. No, not with these teams. Not with Indiana, Georgia, Oregon, Texas Tech. Like these are good teams. Ole Miss, especially now that Ole Miss doesn't have Lane Kiffin holding them back. Kiffin's Crimson Corner. If you don't know what Kiffin's Crimson Corner is, Google it, as Signetti would say. YouTube it. Seriously. Kiffin's Crimson Corner, Tosh.0. Hilarious. There's two of them. They're like more than 10 years old, about 11 years old. One of them might be more like 9 years old. There's two of them. Kiffin's Crimson Corner, Tosh.0. Not safe for work, not safe around kids, but it's hilarious. You guys will love it. So Buckeyes need to be better. This offensive line, man, that's a disappointment, especially after what they did last week. You're like, they finally have arrived. That left side has been playing well all year. Right side has been like very much hit and miss. It was miss today. There wasn't any hits. It was miss. Golden sombrero, not good. All right, my friends, we're going to close up shop now. It is about almost 1 a.m. here. Jeez. So good morning, Bucknutters. Okay. Bad morning, Bucknutters. But I'll be with you on the Bucknuts Morning 5 here in a few hours with Dan Rubin on Monday. More than a few hours, but less than 48 hours, as it turns out. But thanks to all my guests. I really appreciate everybody stopping by, especially when it's like a rough night like this. Matt Baxendale, Jay Book, Heater, Patrick Murphy, Steve Hellwagon. I appreciate all of those guys. I appreciate all of you, even the Indiana fans who are in here. Why would you not be gloating right now? Congrats on your first Big Ten championship. I'm not saying this sarcastically. I almost sound like I was saying this like sarcastically. Congrats on your first Big Ten championship since 1967 and your first outright Big Ten championship since, I don't know, the 50s, longer than that. Congrats, Indiana. Congrats. It's a cool story. Signetti taking over that program and doing what he's doing, and the fact that he's staying and not just chasing like the most money. He's getting paid plenty. It's a cool story. And maybe we'll see you guys in Miami for the national championship game. Again, thanks to all my guests. Thanks to all of you. I appreciate it. Hope everyone has a great rest of your weekend. Go Bucks.